30 days to go in this election, the end of the first of 5 weeks campaigning. It's not just 30 days to go, more importantly, 19 days until the first votes are cast. Depending on your state, depending on whether you're private or public, school holidays kick in as early as next week. So the cover of Look Over There is going to be very big with an awful lot of people. But as always, I like to tell you what happened during the day rather than just what the 6 p.m. news decided was the most important thing to talk about, including the Prime Minister's brush with death, as it was tonight on Channel 7. Come on, fair dinkum. Peter Dutton was in Western Australia today, where, among other things, they made a major announcement, I think about $600 million for regional roads. And as a person who, at least once a month, is out there doing Our Town, country roads are shockers. And there's a promise that if there's a Dutton government, they'll do something about it.
An elected coalition government will fund a new program to the tune of $600 million over the next 4 years to support the supply chains for our agriculture and mining industry.
Just me. I love when she wears the suits. She's a very fashionable young lady. All right, let's keep going here with the Prime Minister. And he today was in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, making a whole series of half announcements, re-announcements. That was him in Victoria, in fact, where he started off the day. Then he made his way out and about today, you know, to respond to Trump. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. A couple of protesters along the way. And as we know, the media love a protester more than a story. Now, these people are posing as journalists, which means they're able to get close enough to the Prime Minister. One of the things I love most about this country is, regardless of who the Prime Minister is, regardless of whether they are standing or falling, which, again, I don't care about, is that we have very close proximity. There's not the huge rings of security, but it's going to get pretty tough to be around these leaders in the next little while because they obviously want to invite people from new media along, but these people are using that to get close enough to be able to cause the disturbances that they currently are. Also, not particularly classy, and you're not really taking the high ground when you're screaming in a hospital ward about the future of the planet. Meantime, as we know, next week, the first of the leaders' debates, it happens here on Sky News, and it's the best of them. Why? Because it's not really about the leaders. It's definitely not about the journalists. It's, of course, the People's Forum, where 100 apparently undecided voters, well, they get to ask whatever they want of the Prime Minister or the prospective Prime Minister. That's next Tuesday night in prime time here on Sky News. A week later, Wednesday night in prime time on the ABC, and no doubt simulcast here on Sky News, is that there will be a face-to-face studio debate. Apparently the first time since 1993 that both leaders have been in an ABC studio. And our old mate Spearsy will be the one who will be calling the balls and strikes in the middle of that. Meantime, the Treasurers have confirmed that they too are going to have a debate. It'll be here, Sky News prime time, Wednesday of next week, so the day after the People's Forum. And the climate ministers will be having a debate as well. This one will be at the National Press Club, where, no doubt, Chris Bowen will be playing a home game. But the debates are starting, which is good. And nightly look at how the media spun it for the Prime Minister, did their best to give the benefit of the doubt to the Labor Party. No giant surprise there, but guess what? Plenty more examples. Again, I'll get to the Trump of it all in a moment or two's time. But the soft questions, they were soft for the Prime Minister today.
First of all, what did you need toothpaste for? Do you not
for the Greek because I'm on the road and you run out of these things as you do.
No big fan. I mean, what a sigh of relief, right? I mean, this is best case scenario you could hope for, isn't it? Can you promise that in your next term, if you are lucky enough to be, or successful enough to be re-elected, you could stabilise this relationship with the United States?
Given we've got the minimum 10%, do you consider that a relatively good deal or the best we could have got?
Why did you buy toothpaste? Oof, the big issues. Meantime, what was the ride that they were giving to Peter Dutton today? A little different.
Are you too easily dismissing what $500 could do to a family in a couple of years' time?
So 600 million, as nice as a number as it is, builds 300 kilometres of road right around the country. It's a nice number, but it's not a big solution, is it?
Plenty of carrot in how you would approach dealing with Donald Trump. Is there any stick?
You've been criticised by Collie residents, though, for not having a discussion with them and hearing their concerns about nuclear power.
And one of the people who sends the signals to the media about how to play is old mate nasty Nikki Savva, the self-admitted liar about how she used to do things as a journalist, and of course puts the books together. No doubt she's already got half of one written, thanks to mates like the bloke in the pink house about how terrible Peter Dutton is. Well, remember, she's the one who's already said, and this was when the polls were not very good for Anthony Albanese, so she's going to have fun walking this one back, that regardless of what happens at the election, Albanese should get out of the way, hand over to the next generation. I wonder whether that will continue to be the case. But of course, she's all about hating Peter Dutton. And today, wakey, wakey, Dutton looks shaky. Oh! Her review of the first week and the alternative Prime Minister who she will not let get out of first gear. Remember, to even discuss immigration was racist, according to these people. He sounded flat, he's looked flat-footed and seemed woefully unprepared for a fight that he knew was coming on a territory that he should have already staked out. Meanwhile, Albanese has performed better and Labor has prepared better for the contest. Even-handed journalism. Give all the awards now. Dutton has also whinged that Albanese has wedged a sledgeathon against him. He sounds like a school bully. See? He's a school bully. Just like Turnbull, he's a thug. See how they all kind of rally around the same words? Complaining to the teacher that one of the kids that he has punched him in the nose, the one that he picked on in the past. Anyway, he better toughen up because Labor will not stop. Its mission, especially in Victoria, where Labor stinks, is to make him unacceptable. Labor could maintain the status quo in every other state, then lose the election in a state once seen as a stronghold. I'll talk about Victoria and I'll tell you why that's the case in a moment or two's time. But her partner in crime, remember, the one who was oh so worried that a ban on foreign buyers was going to result in apparently different-looking people, don't know what that means, will be attacked by evil, racist, presumably white Australians. Remember lefty Laura Tingle? Well, she used her platform there on the ABC, where she's an absolutely independent journalist. And remember, to criticise her is bad for the national debate. She did a thing last night about cost of living, where she was trying a little bit of revisionist history that put simply none of it's Albo's fault. Despite the fact that, again, 3 years ago the promise was he'd make it better, it's all got worse. No, of course. These were some of the insights.
While they're not really blaming the government and there's not baseball bats out for them, there is some ownership of the economy, that's for sure.
There's no connection between the federal government and cost of living. And she found this very helpful pollster to give an insight into the best case or the half glass full. Of course, she had to criticise the opposition because, she's even-handed.
The Albanese government has introduced a range of policies to try to ease the cost of living. The coalition opposed, or at least criticised, many of these measures, arguing government spending was keeping interest rates higher for longer.